Okay, fam, welcome back. All right, so today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts and we're also going to go over some earnings. So, with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so the thing I want to go over first is the earnings. Just so you guys know, I did look into to see if there is new grayscale trusts, and there is. I think there's a total of 8 new ones. Not sure that we're going to be able to cover that along with everything else we're currently doing on this channel, but we'll maybe try to figure something out. So let's get into the earnings. All right, so we have a list of earnings here. You guys can see. So you got some sun symbols, some moon symbols, and like a flat symbol. So you can see what they mean down here. All right. So pre-market, after hours, and time not specified. So we're not going to go over all of these. I can just show you guys the different pages here of the different earnings that they have, and you guys can always, you see the link up here. You can always go look at this for yourself if you really want to. But we're just going to take a look at the important ones. So, in my opinion, this is going to be the larger cap ones. Okay, so things like Abbott, Prologis, U.S. Bank, Kinder Morgan, Crown Castle. Not really too concerned about Equifax and something like Synchrony Financial, because again, the banks. The reason why it's always so important to look at the banks is because the banks are a measure of the strength or weakness of the financial economy. Okay, because again, the banks literally are the economy. That's what they do. So the vast majority of society gets loans and mortgages and auto loans and personal loans, credit cards, lines of credits, whatever, you name it. Those things come from banks, okay, or credit unions, whatever you prefer. But a lot of people do use banks. And banks also do business with each other and business with other businesses like small businesses, big businesses, whatnot. So a lot of money to be made here. So yeah, their financial strength matters is what I'm saying here. So ABT is the first one. We'll take a look at that. And again, I'm not going to go deep into the aspects of the earnings call and all that stuff. Generally speaking, the price reflects what's going on with the underlying. That's usually kind of what happens here. So if the price is up, then generally speaking, probably the earnings call itself is also going to be up, or it's going to be bullish, is what I mean to say. Usually that reflects in the price. So Abbott here, you can see a beat on both ends. Again, it's not real clear on the charts here that this thing is up, but if I go over here to Robinhood, you can see in the after hours it does actually show it's up 1.6%. Next one on the list here, Prologis. The ticker symbol for that is PLD. So don't really need to look at Robinhood here. You can see a big, fat, massive green candle, so that pretty much says it all. Slight miss here on revenue, but again, 0.51%. That's nothing when they had a 65% beat on earnings. I mean, that's huge. So U.S. Bank Corp, this is going to be a big one because this is one of the banks. And as you guys know, when the Fed cuts rates, the banks, financials, I should say, and REITs tend to benefit the most. So you got a gap up and a green candle. I don't think I really need to go to Robinhood to look at this with y'all. So beats on both ends. It's very good. Sometimes even if a stock has a beat on both ends, but they have bad forward guidance, the stock may dump. That's the reason why I say if the stock has not dumped and they have good earnings, typically speaking, there's no real need to worry about the actual earnings call itself. Okay, so going over here to Kinder Morgan, take a look at this one. Okay, so it appears that there was a miss here. Yeah, so a pretty substantial miss actually, but as you can see, it hasn't really affected the price too much, so not really a whole lot to worry about there. As a matter of fact, if I go back here, you can see that quite a few misses here, but then again, it's just continuously gone up, so I don't think it's really too much to worry about. As far as I know, I think Kinder Morgan does things like gas and utilities and stuff like that. I mean, people are always going to need that stuff. So I'm not too worried about that. I mean, it's kind of essential for living, but regardless, it doesn't appear to be affecting the stock price. And again, earnings season usually has hundreds, if not thousands, of companies reporting. So it's just a needle in a haystack, so to speak. What matters with the earnings season is that the percentage of amount of companies that beat earnings. Okay, That's what matters, the cumulative amount. It's not so much the individual companies, it's kind of the companies as a whole that matters. All right, so next one here is CCI. We actually used to own this one, just so y'all know, back in 2022. So CCI, it does appear that it's good. Beats on both ends, a nice green candle there, so that's all good. Let's see what else we got here. Discover, I think that one's probably also pretty important as well because that is another lending institution. So beats on both ends, but we had a kind of a red candle here, so I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe some bad forward guidance. Again, I don't know why Discover of all people would have bad forward guidance. I mean, everybody and their brother has a credit card, right? Maybe it was just overbought. It's hard to say, but again, you guys got to understand about earnings. It's a needle in a haystack. What matters is the percentage of earnings beats, not so much the individual companies. So yeah, on the daily, not really overbought, but then again, maybe people just taking profit into their earnings, thinking that maybe it could just dump. I mean, after all, this is after hours, so maybe people just took profits before the after hours, thinking it could dump, and then maybe it'll just pump tomorrow. All right, so the last one I want to look at here, and again, there is a lot of important ones, but that would be Synchrony Financial. So the ticker symbol here is SYF. We'll take a look at this one. Nice big fat green candle. And you guys can see they had a beat on both ends. So it looks like the banks are doing very good. That's always a good sign. Definitely, I would say. All right, so now let's go over to the trust. As you guys can see, there is some massive, huge gainers today. It's not so obvious on the daily, but it's much more obvious on the weekly time frame. Okay, so LTCN still kind of in this flat sideways movement, but again, once we kind of get above that $16 level, that is takeoff, in my opinion. So big green candle, that's always good. So support here between 12 still to 15, resistance 25 to 27, and then you got that swing high up there at 54. And again, the target's above that range anywhere from 750 to 510. So 380% gain here. You can see BCHG and HZEN and even GXLM had some nice double-digit gains on the day, which is great. BCHG is breaking out of this inverse head and shoulders. Like I told you guys before, this pattern has a very high probability of breaking to the upside. We see that right now. We would just need to confirm on the weekly, and the target for that is just shy of $10, as you can see. But of course, the all-time high is at 60, and it could go even higher than that. So, and we also have 2 more days to figure out if this thing's actually going to break out or not, or if this is going to get sucked back down to the downside, held down below the line. If I'm being completely honest, I doubt that's going to happen. I mean, we're moving into bullish seasonality pretty quick. There is one caveat, and that is the data tomorrow. So I'll just take a quick look with you guys at this. So this is going to be tomorrow morning, actually probably before I even wake up. Of course, it kind of depends on what my mind wants to do at the time, but initial jobless claims and what was the other one? There was another one here, I think. Retail sales, that's it. Yeah, so initial jobless claims and retail sales. Again, I'm expecting retail sales to come in at a beat. The banks is kind of an indicator of this because if the banks are beating on earnings, that means there's demand in the economy, which means that people are probably borrowing and spending money even at these crazy rates, okay? So definitely expecting a beat here. You can see the economists expect the same thing. And jobless claims, expecting that to come in flat. Again, there's many reasons for that. It's not just the Fed cutting rates. I mean, there is, I suppose, one positive to a bunch of illegal immigrants being here, and that is that they're causing the economy to boom. I don't agree with them being here, but that's politics. That's a separate video. So anyways, back to BCHG here. So it broke out from the support. Again, if you guys didn't pick it up here, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, 530 to 570. If it comes back down there, maybe you'll get a second chance. But it looks like it clearly is about ready to break out. So 1025 to roughly about 1270 there. Resistance 1780 to about 20 and 24. So measured moves from current price 62, 155, and 210%. And then if you're lucky enough to get a pullback here into that white line, kind of that green box below, 161, 320%, 400% moves. Okay, so HZEN hasn't quite broken out yet, but getting close. So support is still down here, roughly about 350 to 420. You can see the MACD starting to get green on the histogram. All right, so upper levels here, roughly about $6.90 to $8, and then 10.5. Again, these are very, very short-term time frames we're looking at here, okay? If you're a hodler and you're looking for the big gains, then that would be in the max profit target videos. So 80%, 136% move here. ETCG, this was is a descending triangle. I thought it was going to break to the downside, but clearly not. I did have my reasons for thinking that likely wouldn't happen. And again, there's two reasons for that. Usually when altcoins usually when most things crypto related lift off of their bear market lows, they usually don't go back to them until the bear market in the following cycle, okay, or until the next bear market. That's number one. And number two, because you have these golden crosses coming up here, so I thought likely this was not going to be a bearish. It is a bearish pattern, but what I mean to say is I thought likely it's not going to break down. So anyways, buy zone anywhere between $7.60 to $10, and then you have basically 13 all the way up to 20 could be a potential target to take profit. 161% gain there. And again, the all-time high for ETCG is, I think, roughly about $95. ETH, so nice little double bottom there, potential W pattern playing out. So support here, 1850, and then you're looking at about 2350 to 2850, and then 4740 for the cup and handle target. Again, a lot of people would say, oh, that cup and handle is too long. It's taking too long to play out. I mean, guys, look, I can literally show you examples of longer time frames it took to play out. Okay, Bitcoin, same thing. Still within the cup and handle. What are we getting right now? A breakout of the cup and handle. Bitcoin's at almost 68,000. Gold is another example. Okay. This one, actually, I would even need to go even further out for this because, I mean, it's such a long time frame. Look at this. What is this? Cup and handle. Boom. Breakout, right? Here's the target right here. We're not quite there, but pretty close. Whether it does or does not hit it, I don't know. I don't think it's going to, but it's always possible, I suppose. So yeah, I don't really see the cup and handle as necessarily having a time frame in which it should hit its target. I just think it's a matter of whether it's going to hit its target or not. But usually cup and handles do break out to the upside. They're very bullish. So I don't think there's any real time constraints there. As far as I'm concerned, every trader has their own opinion. This is my opinion, so it doesn't mean I'm right or wrong or they're right or wrong. It just means that different traders have different ways of looking at things. So 53% and 154% move here. GBAT, little tiny baby pullback, 1%, and that's nothing. So 450 to 540 still remains support. Then you have 780 to about $10, and then the all-time high at 32. All right, so measure moves here, 125%, 622%. FILG, Filecoin, a little bit of a pullback here, but support still holding, so I'm not too worried about it. 36 to 43, and again, we do have the MACD EMAs literally touching, about ready to cross golden, so I think this pullback probably going to be a little short-lived, if you ask me. $400 is going to be the all-time high. So about a 10x on your move, 1,230%. GLIV flat on the day. But once again, we're getting that kind of full-blown bullish divergence here. You can see almost all of the MACD EMAs are getting ready to have a golden cross. We're going into Q4 bullish seasonality. Crypto's in the halving year, right around the time Bitcoin should be busting the all-time highs. Fed's cutting rates, elections, earnings season. Need I say more? All right, so 1250 to 1450 here at support. All-time high at 80. Measured move here, roughly about 575%. G-Link, I do like this long wick to the downside. That's very bullish looking. We saw something very similar before, and it did have a nice little move up. It's also possible this could be a triple bottom here. We don't usually talk about triple tops, triple bottoms, but they're also a pattern as well, like a double bottom or a double top. Triple bottom is even more bullish. This could also be a this clearly would not be a inverse head and shoulders pattern because the head needs to be deeper than the shoulders. In this case, the opposite, but it could possibly be like some kind of W pattern, as you guys can see here. All right, anyways, so support still remains roughly about 40 to 45. You got your resistance there, 67 to 85, and then the all-time high at 220. So about a 90% to a 420% gain. GSOL 300 to roughly about 350, and then the all-time high up here at 580. So measured move here about 92%, and then again, that does not include price discovery. Price discovery is obviously above the all-time highs. So support here, or in my opinion, the ideal buy-in range is going to be somewhere between 1460 to about 23. Because once price is pushing up into these EMAs, like you can see kind of here before, once it gets above them, it takes off. So basically what I'm saying is anywhere between here and the EMAs could be a good buying point. Because once it gets above the EMAs, it starts blasting off to the moon. I mean, it's pretty much too late to get in at cheap prices after that. All right, so 53 to 59 and then 70. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be the guy chasing at the top. So 295%, 367% move here. Mana, 1050 as support there. It is still holding, which is good. So you got 17 to about 20 and a half there at that resistance, and then 70, 71 at those all-time highs. All right, so we got about a 95% to 566% move. And again, you can see the EMAs are touching here, very bullish looking, especially on the weekly time frame. This does take a very long time for these golden crosses or death crosses to play out. Zcash, so buy range here, roughly about $3.15 to $6. Then you have 8 to about 960 and 10, I'd say about 10 and a quarter, 10 and a half, somewhere in there as the swing high. So roughly about 187% to 215%. If you bought at the top here, obviously you can see it would be much less, 62% to 74% move. Still not bad. I mean, it's almost double your money, but it's not as good as if you bought kind of down here at this level. So I'll say what I said once again, and that is that I think when Bitcoin goes to all-time highs somewhere around between now and the end of the year, okay, that's when these two right here, BCHG, LTCN, are going to get their biggest moves. And then eventually Bitcoin will top out, ETH will take over. ETH-E and ETCG will start mooning after that, and then we'll get an alt season after that at some point, probably Q1 of next year. We will see the rest of these start popping off. So HZEN and then GBAT all the way down. All right, so hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.